Good morning, everybody. Today, I'm here to bring you a experiment that was just about leveling fast and nothing else. This character is in no capacity an endgame character. It was simply a character that I designed because I wanted a druid past life and because I wanted to be able to level quickly. I want the past life for my next character, which is going to be horrible, and I can't wait to show with you. But until that time, I needed the druid past life, so I decided, hey, why don't I just level as a druid really fast? I like animal form. Wolf form's my favorite kind of druid. Let's do that. But I realized that I didn't really want to do 1 to 20. I want to do 15 to 30 because it's a little bit faster. So I said, okay, well, why don't I just do an iconic character? I looked at all the iconics and it struck me, hey, Razorclaw, it's got a barbarian life. And barbarian, mix it with druid, maybe that could be kind of good. And something that I've never really done before is actually doing a big multi-class off of the druid. Pretty much every druid build I've done has either been like a pure bear or a 17 wolf build, getting all the good stuff out of wolf. I never really did some of the larger multi-classes that some other people have done to get bonus critical threat range and multipliers, especially with mixing in barbarian. I figured I'd give it a shot. And while this build is not really optimized for endgame play, I will say that with a character with very few past lives and pretty much no noteworthy gear, I was able to smash through fairly easily. So I wanted to share my experiences with you, so that way, if you are just starting the game, maybe you're starting on a new server, you can follow through with this build guide, assuming you have access to an iconic, or maybe even just starting from level 1 if you don't, and build something that's pretty similar to what I did right here. Again, the character's not super optimized towards endgame, but the goal for me was I wanted a druid past life, and I was able to get it without too much fuss. Now, the important thing is the difference between wolf and bear for this build. I ended up using falchions because honestly they're cool looking weapons and the critical threat range is really nice, as wolves have an ability called Essence of the Shrike, which makes it so that when you critically strike you get temporary spell points, meaning you don't really ever run out of spell points. I use this to my advantage by having a falchion, so that way I was critically striking on almost every single hit, giving me nearly infinite mana to play with so I could constantly cast heals and do other things for my party members. I then just wanted to try out some of the other wolf build, wolf skills, wolf abilities, but the thing is, while you have the natural fighting feats, while you're in bear form, it buffs up your two-handed weapons by a huge margin. Basically, if you have the natural fighting feats and you are a bear, it's effectively like having all of the two-handed fighting feats normally. See, generally, if you play a barbarian or a paladin, you take the two-handed fighting feat line, you gain increased damage with your two-handed weapons and a whole bunch of strike through. Unfortunately, while you're in animal form, you can't actually count as the combat style two-handed fighting because your combat style is locked to the animal form that you have. But SSG, knowing that, made it so that natural fighting, the feat, counts like two-handed fighting while you're in bear form, giving you increased damage with two-handed weapons as well as bonus strike through. So I stubbornly played as a wolf for almost all the levels, and then when it was recommended to me to swap into bear form, while I was on stream, I said, you know what? Sure, I'll just show you bear form. Here it goes. And I started doing more than double damage per strike and hitting monsters in an AoE. Two-handed fighting and strike through are kind of king right now. And so if you're looking for a good build, something that's going to carry you through, just play this thing in bear form. Take all the good stuff. You'll be pretty happy with yourself. This character build has no reliance on tomes, no reliance on past lives, because those things don't really hold up to what this character actually does. This is just a put a bunch of points into strength build, hit the monsters, go into the next room. So if you're looking for something simple and fun, get yourself through a past life, then I had a great time with this and I would love to recommend it to you. So let me pass it over to me to show you exactly how to build it. Well, let me give you the brief rundown as to the character that I used that you can use if you happen to have a first life character and you just want to maybe get a past life or a druid past life like me quickly, what you gotta do. So of course this character is 13 druid, 6 barbarian, and 1 favored soul. The 13 druid was not really important. I wanted regenerate and it was helpful, especially if you're not playing in Reaper mode. It's great to just get yourself healed up. The 6 levels of Barbarian, just so I can take some extra cores from Barbarian, as well as the tier 5 of the Ravager tree. And the 1 favorite soul lets me add a little bit of my wisdom to some of my stats, which just end up being nice. Doesn't really game changing, just kind of nice. The focus of this character is to go strength as your main stat, and then constitution and wisdom to follow up. All the other stats are totally useless. As far as your skills go, my bear is kind of dumb, so the things I focused the most on was spot, and I also focus a little bit into intimidate, and a little bit into concentration, and a little bit into swim. Basically, as long as you have spot, the rest of the stats don't matter. That's kind of what I went with. As far as the feats go, choosing feats on a druid is actually pretty easy. Druid's very, very easy to take your feats with, because the wild shapes, you just take all the wild shapes right there as you go along. As far as the combat style feats, you just make sure you take all of the natural fighting. You take natural fighting 3 times. I took power attack as well, and cleave at level 1 and 3, so that way I could have those feat slots filled up. And then after that, you're pretty much in the clear. For metamagics, I took extend just because I didn't have all the levels of druid, so my spells don't last very long, which is irritating, and this just made it easier. Again, this character was not going for an endgame build. This is just an easy leveling build, and I want to reiterate, this is not an endgame build. It's not refined for that. It's just refined enough to make it so you don't really need to care about what you're using or equipping, and you can kind of just smash your way through quests. I took Power Attack for slashing, or Improved Critical for slashing, sorry, because I use falchions for the most part while leveling. That's pretty much it. In terms of epics and the feats that I took, I grabbed Perfect 2-Weapon Fighting. I grabbed Dire Charge and Tactician, so this allowed me to Dire Charge stuff, get some extra DCs, and Perfect 2-Weapon Fighting. And then Epic Damage Reduction for some extra defense, and Epic Fortitude at level 30, as well as Great Strength, because at 24 I had literally no feat to take, so I didn't know what to do. And Overwhelming Critical is another good feat as well. As far as your spells go, for Favorite Soul, just make sure you take Night Shield, gives you immunity to magic missiles, which is really convenient. And then for the rest of my druid spells, I made sure to take all the healing. I leveled up as a wolf, but as you're going to see in a bit, bear is just better for pretty much everything. It doesn't really matter which one you play, but bear does more damage and has faster clear. I went with wolf just because I like the animal forms, but I think without Snowslide in the mix, I would definitely go with just a bear druid. So take your bear attacks, take your heal spells, nothing really crazy. And then I took a couple defensive ones. You got to have Reincarnate, you got to have Freedom Movement, you got to have Fire Shield, just situational things that you can pick them up and cast them on yourself whenever you need. As far as the enhancement tree goes, actually for this character, it's very, very loose. The basic gist of it is I went into Ravager, and I want to get tier 5. All this stuff in Ravager doesn't matter. All that matters is this up here. Blood Strength, when you kill a guy, you heal for 20 health. That scales off your melee power. This is really good. This was healing me for like 60-ish in Heroics, and then in Epics it was healing me for about 100 whenever someone died, so super good. And then Critical Rage, which gives you +2 competence bonus to critical threat range. So with the Falchion, I was critting on 13 to 20, which is pretty good. It's a 40% crit chance, I think. So pretty sweet. And then out of Nature's Warrior, I went with 24 points. I wanted to get the melee power here, and then I wanted to get the competence bonus critical threat multiplier. Plus I took some of the wolf stuff. If you're not planning on playing as a wolf, just get rid of this ghost wolf and instead take like flight or fight or something. You don't really need to worry about spending your points in these two places here. Just grab fight, because I believe this is 1 and this is 2. Yeah, you can take fight and get 3 extra damage if you want. Then I put points into War Soul to grab the Divine Will, because it's pretty good. And this is the last thing I would probably change. I spent a lot of points here in the Frenzied Berserker tree, probably more than you need to. So if I was to adjust this here for the way that I did it now with the bear build, I would go here and pick up the additional saves bonuses here as a minor adjustment in my tree, and one more phase point into Phase Blessing, and then grab Magical Beast. This gives you the spell Great Maul. It says you get it here, but you don't. You actually get it here, and Great Maul is one of your best abilities. It's just a single target stun. At which point, then you can go up here and pick up Blood Tribute. So you put 2 points and then Blood Tribute, and then that's it. So you still have some Blood Tribute, and it's not as strong as it could otherwise be. But this way, now you have Great Maul, which is one of the best bear spells. And you want to grab that because it stuns everything that's in front of you. Because you can strike through as a bear. Don't have any shifter action points? Don't worry, I never shifted, so it doesn't matter. I was just doing this to get a past life of Druid, so the rest of that is unimportant. Now, as far as Epic Destinies go, I played in a bunch of Epic Destinies just to get the feel of it. I bounced around. I played Dreadnought, Fury, Primal, Avatar, and Divine Crusader during the leveling process. It all felt kind of the same, so it doesn't matter which one you use. The only important things is to make sure that you happen to have balanced attacks right here, so that way, whenever you're in animal form, you're knocking monsters down on a Vorpal. This was a really good ability, and I highly recommend you use that. And other than that, if you can, make sure you also twist in Rejuvenation Cocoon, just because it gives you a lot of extra healing for yourself and your friends. Which one was actually the best? I don't know. I think they're all good for leveling. Probably Divine Crusader is where I would have stuck most of the time. I didn't optimize my gear, so I was wearing a bunch of crap almost the entire time I was leveling. And since I was wearing garbage, this Zeal of the Righteous gives double strike. Usually you would be over cap on Zeal of the Righteous for the double strike here, and it wouldn't be very good. But because I had no good gear, this would bring me closer to 100% double strike, and my character would be a lot stronger. So I would probably go with Divine Crusader just for general leveling, because it gives you access to no remorse here, which makes it so when you kill a monster, you heal. So that means you get 2 effects that when you kill a monster, you heal, which is pretty nice. And on top of this, it says it's affected by your Purification Aura, which means you don't have to get the kill either. So again, just a pretty good ability. So I'd probably level with Divine Crusader. And if you wanted to pick a real endgame bear build, this isn't supposed to be one, but Fury of the Wild is probably going to be your bread and butter for hitting people and doing the damages. So yeah, I think I covered it. Twist, balanced attacks if you're not in Primal Avatar, twist, rejuvenation cocoon if you're not in Primal Avatar, and probably play Divine Crusader and just kind of put your points into the tree. As far as where you should put your points, I'd probably do something like this. Come on, money. Come back to me. I would grab Strength, because Strength is the most important thing. I grab these two abilities, Interrogation and Purge the Wicked. I don't think I would use Consecration. Actually, can you use Consecration while raging? Yes, you can use Consecration while raging, so I guess you do use Consecration. You take Consecration, grab more Strength, grab Sacred Ground, grab more Strength, grab the Crusade for the extra damage while you're on Consecration. No Regret for the extra damage and Purification stacks on enemies. Castigation, Heavenly Presence, Celestial Champion for +1 critical threat range on all your attacks. And then I'd probably take Strike Down just because it's a frontal cleave that does a ton of damage. And then stop there. This is with 25 points, of course. If you don't have 25 points, I would probably not take Heavenly Presence and instead take Strike Down and then spend 1 point somewhere, anywhere in the tree. Just skip on Heavenly Presence. But if you have 25, take the tree just like so. And that's pretty much it. I'd love to go through gear, but I just wore whatever. You know, I had Blessed Vestments from Sharn because it was just in my inventory. Same thing with the Hallowed Castigators. I was using Caneth Crafted Gloves the entire time for some strength. Flightfoot Greaves from Ravenloft. This is a Ring of Prowess that I just slapped on here. This necklace is Utilitarian Necklace because it's got some sheltering and some constitution from Tower of Frost. And during the leveling process, I had a Helmet of Wisdom that I was using. I had these lower level strength gloves. And the only item that I'll say, you know, big shout out, Hide of the Fallen. This is a cool item. It gives you Druidic Survival Mastery. While in Wild Shape, you receive a primal bonus to damage equal to half of your Wilderness Lore feats. It's important to note that Barbarian and Druid both get Wilderness Lore. So this means that the 13 levels of Druid is 1 Wilderness Lore each. So 13. Barbarian is 6. So this is 19 Wilderness Lore, or rounded down is 9 extra damage. It's not bad. It's a cloak that gives you 9 damage. Pretty good while leveling. The epic version might even be worth shoving into a build, because 9 deadly is not too bad. That's pretty much it. That's the whole build. So if you want to try it yourself, super easy leveling. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I did it mostly as Wolf, and then it went way faster as Bear. So I'm going to be, you know, obviously recommending you play Bear. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the actual leveling process and the order. I basically took 3 levels of Druid as fast as I could, so that I could take all of the natural fighting feats, and then I did the 1 level of Favored Soul, did all the Barbarian, and then I finish off with Druid. So at level 15, I was a 1 Favored Soul, 6 Barbarian, and 8 Druid, and I did the rest Druid after that. The last 5 levels. Anyways, that's it. If you like this video, please leave a like or something, and that's it. I don't know how to end the video. Somebody's going to do that. I'm going to cut the video on myself. So while I'm in the middle of talking, in the middle of my sentence, I'm just going to cut it right off, and that way you don't have to deal with me talking. You know.